wanted to take some time to talk about ways that we might be able to support babies' language development and, just their ability to communicate overall. There are a few things to consider as we get ready to approach this topic. The first one is, with so many variables involved when we interact with our babies, how do we know when's a good time to interact with them? By watching babies, actually. Being a good observer is really important in our interactions with babies because they tell us so much if we're able to listen. So we watch their faces first. What does their face say to us? What state of consciousness? Are they getting drowsy? Are they ready for interaction? What sort of mood is your baby in? And we look at your baby's body for that also. What does your baby's physiological state regulation look like? If by chance you have a baby who's overwhelmed, some things you can do are, first of all, swaddling your baby, reducing the amount of noise in the room, not trying to force your baby to interact, rocking your baby gently, and holding your baby close to you. Babies' heartbeats and breathing are regulated by their caregivers' heartbeats and breathing when we hold them close. And then one other thing to think about is why talking with young babies in high-pitched voices or in sing-songy voices might be important. And that really is more, for those first months of life, really up to when your baby starts saying words. When we talk to a baby in a high-pitched voice, the baby's right hemisphere of the brain is stimulated, and the right hemisphere of the brain recognizes emotional tones and gives the baby a clue about what you are trying to communicate, including getting their attention, calming or arousing them, approving what they're doing, or telling them not to do something. And this is important because the left hemisphere of the brain is not very well developed during the early months of life, which means that babies don't understand spoken words, but they do understand the emotional tone of words from the beginning of their lives, thanks to the right hemispheres of their brains. So using a high-pitched baby-directed speech in those early months of life can be helpful because it helps babies to understand the differences between different speech sounds. When we speak slower and enunciate words like we often do when we're talking in our high-pitched voices to babies, and that helps babies to hear the differences between them. That can actually help support the development of the left hemisphere of the brain and understanding spoken words. So going back to just thinking about supporting language development overall, some things that you might do include talking to your baby often. When your baby makes a sound, imitate that sound back to your baby. Sing to your baby, especially maybe during diaper changes and when you're feeding your baby, unless singing while the baby's eating is distracting for your baby. Use your baby's name often when you interact with him or her. And there are a few other suggestions for the first few months of life. Spend time letting your baby just look at you, explore your face. Talk to your baby about what you're doing with him or her, what's happening in the room or outside if you're outside. Continue comforting your baby when he or she cries. Discuss characteristics of objects that you're looking at and exploring with your baby. Provide music opportunities for your baby. Use your baby's name often. Smile back at your baby when your baby laughs or smiles. As your baby begins to babble, there are some additional suggestions that might include comment on what you both see when the baby looks in the same direction that you're looking. Talk to your baby using different Intonations like asking questions, making statements, being excited, those sorts of things. Begin to play games that include give and take, like patty cake and peekaboo. And then what sorts of things can you do to help promote your baby's ongoing development as they get a little older and start using their first words? You might talk to your baby about their feelings like, oh, you're really happy today. Oh, you're sad. Come here, let me help you feel better. And when you talk to your baby, use now that they're starting to say their own words, use normal talk more often than baby talk. That high-pitched, sing-songy voice that we use with babies is nice to replace, as their capabilities keep growing. One reason we use that sing-songy voice is to get their attention and to hold it. But now what we want to focus more on is helping babies know the normal pronunciation of words. You can also point out objects in the baby's environment, tell the baby what they are. Keep varying your tone of voice by asking questions, making statements, being curious. It doesn't take a lot of money to ensure that babies develop strong language skills, but it does take a responsive caregiver who's willing to spend time promoting the baby's development. The payoff is really huge because kids who have had lots of positive language interactions tend to have better language skills, and better language skills in the early years of life predict school success when they get to school. So there are some additional ways we can support their ongoing development of communication skills. One of those is expanding on things that they say or things that they're interested in. So you might describe the characteristics of an object they use. Bring me the brown pillow. No, that's the yellow one. Can you bring me the other one, which is brown? Another thing you could do might be talking about people or animals that are important in their lives. Oh, come here, Bella. This is our doggy Bella. Look at how she has brown spots. She loves to play with you when you're gentle with her. And you might just be talking to them about things that are happening. Bella's really excited to see you today. She keeps coming over to see you and to play with you. Here, you can give her the red ball and throw it for her. But language is not the only thing that's important to do with our babies. Singing silly and serious songs, playing fun games, hearing and saying rhyming words, reading books. Reading books are really critical, and reading books from birth is great. If you don't have books in your home, you can be the book by just pointing out all the objects that you see in your environment. When you go outside, show your baby the leaves, the branches, the rocks, the plants, the bugs, and you can become a book for them then. Other things that you can do include helping babies learn the sounds of animals, machines, and most of all, responding to babies' needs can help them more as they're learning how to communicate with others. Babies who don't have people to talk to them a lot will sometimes be behind in their language development compared to babies who do have people to talk to them a lot. But the reality is sometimes you talk to a child a ton and they still don't really talk a lot. That might be a personality, and it might also be a gender thing. Boys are more likely to talk later than girls, even if they've been talked to a lot. But the great thing about having talked to them a bunch is that they'll have the capability when they are ready to do it. There are some things that you can do to help a toddler who's beginning to put two-word sentences together. First of all, expanding again on what they say can help them learn more words. Like your toddler might say, play toy. So then you could expand on that by saying, oh, you want to play with the plastic bottle? Sure, here it is. Watch it how it spins when I turn it like this. And when a toddler wants to just point to something instead of using their words, you might ask them what they want and then say what you think they want. You want to have a snack because you are hungry? Something else you can do is to talk about things that are familiar to toddlers, like their feelings, behaviors, activities, clothing, body parts. Toddlers are just beginning to know what their feelings are, and it's important to label their feelings for them, like happy, sad, frustrated, scared, surprised, excited, mad, worried. And you can also tell them what they might do about their feelings. You're frustrated that you have to wait to play with the ball. Maybe you can come swing for a minute, and then you'll be able to play with the ball. You want to always keep expanding your toddler's speech by adding new words that they're not familiar with and helping them learn how to use those new words. Remember that as toddlers are learning new words, it's helpful for us to reinforce those words so that kids remember them better. So if you've noticed that truck is a new word for your child, you can continue to reinforce it by talking about the similarities between cars and trucks, providing cars as well as trucks for kids to play with, and pointing them out when you see them. And one of the best strategies for increasing early language development is reading to kids. They learn more about communication and language, and they also learn about the link between symbols that they see written and the meaning of those symbols. Children who are read to a lot in the early years have an advantage over other kids when they go to school. And kids who have been read to a lot are likely to do better in school than kids who have not been exposed to many books. There are many components of reading books, like maintaining a child's attention for an increasing amount of time. So, for example, at first, babies might not attend to a book for long, but as they have more experience with books, they'll usually be able to pay attention longer, which also relates to success in school. So the bottom line is talk to your kids. Talk to them about a little bit of everything that you see, that you hear, their emotions, and have fun doing it.